Alright, so I wasn't going to, but I thought, why not? Let's take a look at the face and maybe adding in some secondary action, overlapping action, I should say, to the ponytail. So right now, it looks like we do have some keys already on there from before. It looks like, let's see. So let me just go into my dope sheet. And yeah, there are some there, so let me just delete those. And I'm going to start by just having this kind of drop down a little bit because of gravity. There we go, something a bit more like that. And I just want to think about just subtle motions of the heads. You know, some of this is going to be very, very subtle. So the slower the action, the slower this thing's going to move. Or the more subtly, I should say, this thing's going to move. So as he comes down, that's going to go up. With the impact, that's going to get flattened. Yeah, there is definitely some wobbling I can see here. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just my imagination. No, it's funny. When I'm looking for it, I see it. But it kind of works when it plays. So when he goes up, that goes down. And when he goes down, that goes up a little bit. And then we're going to have it settle down. About there. Let's see what we got. Alright, so we need to refine that a bit more. So let's see here. So this should still be probably up in the air right around here. So let's just do that. And we're going to have to use a bit of that whip principle here. So that's going to be up a little bit. It's going to be up. There we go. And then this needs to be down. Am I stuck in that same position as before? What's going on with this stuff? And we can go through that arc. This could be down more still. This could be up. Cool. All right, let's see what that's going to look like. Now, it's feeling a little bit slow. Is this playing back real time? No, this is free. You can clearly see it moving there, but I'm just not really seeing it move too much here. Let's grab all those guys again. Go down a little bit more here. happens if I really just going to stretch that down? Cool. All right, that looks a bit better. Could be a bit much. And I'm going to just turn that this way a little bit more around here. Around this way. Cool. And we have a little bit more of an S curve in the beginning here too, maybe. Just as it transitions from one direction to the other. Let's see here. Where's that? Is it going to let me do it? I don't know. Not really seeing much of a change. Yeah, you know what? Let's just, that's okay. I'll just leave that like that for now. For a first pass, you know, that's looking okay. All right, and then what I'm going to do is maybe on the impact we could even just have it go a little bit more too. More kind of spread out and down perhaps. And we could probably have a bit more of a C shape here. Cool. So just like the pendulum, basically. And you know, things like the earring, ears. I think there's some ear controls for basic ear movements. Yeah, so very basic ear movements. Let's see here. So maybe I'll have those angled back a bit. Down slightly. Oops. It doesn't seem to want to, doesn't work symmetrically, so I'll just move it down for now. Keep it down. That'll be the most. And then it comes back this way. And then on the impact, we could maybe angle them down again. Cool. Things like the nose. Let's get into the face now. Nose, we can do the same thing. You know, on the takeoff, that can really just be pushed down too. Oh wait, is that the best nose one to use? Yeah, maybe. Like really get that smushed down on his face. And then on the way down, we could maybe rotate it up a bit. Maybe angle it slightly. Not that much. There is a little bit of a pump with the right there with the shoulder and the but I almost feel like it's working. It does feel a little bit believable. It's one of those happy accidents. I think I'm just going to leave that there. If I wanted to get rid of it, though, maybe I would stretch this up just a bit more. There we go. That's a bit better. A bit better. Alright, I might still get back and just do a couple more little things with that. Face. Got the eyes and brows. Let's do the brows first. Just because we do want to definitely push or accentuate the squash. So as he's lifting up here, you know, let's push the brows down too, so it goes down with the ears and the nose and everything. So when they come down, you know, we want to kind of push them out a little bit. Now it looks like it actually does that for us with this rig, which is great. And then as it comes down, let's push those brows up just a little bit. So when it impacts, they're gonna again come a little bit more down. Now right now I'm keeping the brows fairly symmetrical. It is a good idea to offset our poses. I might keep that more with the looks. So as he's kind of happy with himself, kind of brushing himself off, maybe we can start bringing these up, and maybe one might go up a bit higher than the other. Because he's going to be looking this way as he's turning around, brushing himself off and then turning around. So I might want to keep those brows a little bit more upright. Alright. What's he going to be doing in the beginning? He's definitely going to be reading this thing. So he might start off maybe the brows a little bit higher, but as he's kind of looking down and looking over, yeah, definitely we want those brows maybe squinting down, maybe even more so. And then he's going to be he's looking across, so maybe the brows will raise so that when the eyes come up, they're going to raise with the eyes. Cool. Let's do the eyes and mouth. Now the blinks are done with these guys here. And let's see if I just translate, so I have to do them one at a time. So basically, if he's squinting, I just want to make sure I'm bringing up those lower lids only. So this guy and this guy. Yeah, he's going to be squinting. Let's bring this one up a bit less. Maybe I'll just do the mouth while I'm here too. So squinting, you know, maybe I'll just purse the lips a little bit. Bring those lips in just a bit. There we go. Maybe open the bottom mouth just a little bit. Maybe not. Is there like an overall jaw control? Is that this guy? It is. So maybe I'll just move the mouth open with this guy instead. Ever so slightly. And then I'm gonna probably want to keep that. So let me just grab only the mouth. And the bottom lids. I probably want to hold that pose, or somewhat of that pose. So let me see. So probably around there. I'll just copy that. So I copied a frame after my key. That way there's going to be a slight blending. So it's going to be a slight motion. key it again. Now it is going into this kind of smiley face. I don't really want that. Let me see here. Yeah, if something like that happens, maybe it's time to save and reopen. So I'm going to do an increment and save and reopen, similar to what happened before in one of the earlier videos. It's just the copying and pasting for some reason has been acting up in this version of Maya. But, you know, there we are, we're back. So I didn't even have to reopen it. So I did mention, you know what, I might want to, as he's lowering his head here in the brows raise, I might want the eyes to look up a little bit. So I'm going to grab the eyeballs, which are these center ones here. And I think it's happening right here. I'm just going to raise those up a little bit. So he's going to be looking, maybe those upper lids can rise up just a bit too at this point. The upper lids, if I can actually get in there and select them. And those are translated. There we go. Just make sure there's not a lot of white above the pupil. We want to make sure the eyelids sit on the pupil of the eye, above and below. You have to make sure that you are always animating those things, otherwise it's going to look like a weird doll or something. And then maybe I'll have a blink happen through here. So let's go and do a blink. Blinks are a good place to have during broad motions. There we go. That's one side. The side's just a little bit not quite symmetrical. There's that. Maybe bring these guys down. Just blinks, you know, we do want to make sure the brows are moving a little bit through those blinks. Otherwise it's going to look weird. This is our squash. Maybe I'll squash up the mouth a little bit too, so everything gets a little bit squished up. Alright, and then this is our big stretch, so maybe I'll open that mouth up just a smidge. And I know we got these controls here. I'm going to just rotate these, maybe drag it forward a bit. They're not the best, but let's see. Maybe not rotate them. Maybe I'll just drag them down just a bit. Cool. And then right through here where we have this kind of looking from left to right, I'm just going to, again, lead with the eyes. So I'm going to rotate these eyes here. Make sure I'm getting the actual eyes. I'm going to have a slow blink in through here. With the blink, make sure you're moving those brows, not just the eyelids, right? Everything needs to move together, even if it's just a little bit. Cool. And then I should probably do some kind of face something at the end too, maybe a smile or something like that. I could probably loosen up the fingers, things like that also as part of this pass. I do feel the jump itself is a little bit slow. I might render it out and just do a slight retiming in After Effects before I post it. Maybe I can do one more little tiny blink at the very end here. around here. You know, 6 frames, 6 to 10 frames is good for a blink. Unless you're doing a succession of like really quick blinks, then you know you're looking at maybe 3 or 4 frames. This eye's looking a little bit weird. Now technically you won't see that eye because it's behind the character, but just make sure there's not a lot of white between the bottom of the pupil and the eye. And let me see, maybe I'll just have him, already has a bit of a side smile on that side. Maybe I'll have it be a little bit more on this side here. Maybe not that much, maybe a little bit. Got a bit of a push it up just a bit more. Maybe see a little bit of lips. It's going to be a big gummy smile. Kind of a creepy smile that way, but let's see. Maybe we can do something a bit. If I open this up. Got some apples, those cheeks there. All right, you know, that's not too bad. So let's see what we got. So the main thing though is that the keys for what I've done really exist on the keys for the most part that I'd already keyed all of the main body poses on in that very first video. That way it kind of relates to the motion that I'm doing. Don't want to overdo the blinks, but it is good having blinks or eye compressions during moves. In this case, when he's brushing himself off, he's actually probably going to be watching himself do that, so I didn't really have much of a blink or compression there. I might want to push these shoulders down just a little bit, though. Just right here and here. There we go, that's a bit better. Bit of a bounce to the shoulders now. And we have to also make sure we're not having any intersections. So I'm going to have to be a little bit more careful just with how the hands kind of go over the body there. And you know, we should probably even go frame by frame with these fingers, making sure it goes exactly over top of the geo that is going to be wiping off of. And it'll look so much better too if we did that. But it happens so quick. You know, you only have to do it for a frame or two. And then here I might just want to maybe tear a finger away from the pack and just offset them just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more variety to the action. And this just looks weird, so let's see if we can fix that up. So a little bit marginally better. I just got to keep that. All right, let's see what we got now. Cool. All right, so that's not too bad for a couple hours of work. You know, in the scheme of things, 10 seconds, you know, that's not too bad for like a first, you know, 90%. You send it off to get revisions, and then you have to make changes. Usually it doesn't get this far, though, before things come across as needing to be modified, but you know, if you're looking at maybe doing 12 to 15 seconds of animation, final animation a week, you know, you gotta get something that looks like this to a point so it can be reviewed and then sent back to do tweaks and any kind of additional revisions. And usually it's iterative, so you have to go back and forward a few times. sometimes, and sometimes it's perfect the first time through. But I'm going to leave it there. I think I'm going to render that off and see how this ends up looking, and I'll post that afterwards. All right, so this is the last part.